Fetty Wap, whose life had taken a dark turn after his initial hype would die down as he would return to the streets to fund his flashy lifestyle, eventually getting taken down in a major dope case. And while he would first be out on bail, he would allegedly threaten to kill someone while flashing a gun during a FaceTime call, which would get him arrested in New Jersey and thrown straight into the Brooklyn jail. Fetty would almost immediately plead guilty, but he would stay at MDC awaiting sentencing for several months, with media giving only small updates about his time there, like DJ Academics sharing a picture of Fetty with other inmates, seemingly in good spirits. While at Christmas time, TMZ would do a story about the Christmas menus at different correctional facilities, mentioning also Fetty and the menu at MDC, which apparently included the all-American staples like turkey, sweet potato, mac and cheese, and even fruit pie for dessert. In May 2023, Fetty would eventually be sentenced, receiving a 6-year sentence for a large-scale drug trafficking ring that shipped dope from the West Coast to his home turf in New Jersey and Long Island.
Rapper Fetty Wap has been sentenced to 6 years in prison. His sentence is for his role in a drug trafficking conspiracy that took place in parts of Long Island and New Jersey. Fetty Wap, whose real name is William Jr. Maxwell II, pleaded guilty in August to conspiracy to distribute and possess cocaine. Because of the plea deal, he was able to avoid a life sentence had he been convicted.
But once again, MDC Brooklyn didn't stay quiet for long, as another headline-making figure arrived in August 2023, this time the former crypto billionaire turned alleged conman Sam Bankman-Fried, aka SBF, who too would discover that all the money in the world couldn't buy you decent treatment at MDC Brooklyn. The former crypto golden boy found himself in jail after a judge revoked his bail for allegedly trying to tamper with witnesses by leaking private documents to the press.
Tonight, disgraced former billionaire and cryptocurrency CEO Sam Bankman-Fried sent back to jail after prosecutors accused him of giving a document to a media outlet to intimidate a witness. A judge revoking the 31-year-old's $250 million bail, remanding him into the custody of U.S. Marshals.
SBF's time at MDC would get into a rough start, as he had to survive on bread, peanut butter, and water the entire time because the facility wouldn't accommodate his vegan diet. But perhaps the most telling sign that MDC Brooklyn's corruption problems were far from solved came when SBF somehow managed to conduct an unauthorized video conference interview with Tucker Carlson from inside the facility. Surprisingly, SBF would tell Carlson that while conditions at MDC were quote-unquote dystopian, things weren't that bad, as he didn't feel like he was in any kind of danger and the guards were treating him well.
What's it like?
It's sort of dystopian. You know, the fortunate thing, the place I'm in, I'm not in physical danger. And, you know, frankly, a lot of the staff, they're trying to be helpful. They're trying to, you know, do what they can given the constraints.
This is because he was placed in a unit called 4 North, which is a low-security, dormitory-style area that accommodates only about 20 inmates, primarily high-profile individuals or those requiring special protection. One of the other inmates in that unit was an ex-Blood Gang member called G Lock, who was later told in interviews about his time with Bankman.
Stay mad. You were in jail with Sam Bankman-Fried for a really long time, actually.
Yeah, from the time Sam got in to about January 11th when I came home. I don't remember the exact date, but I remember the exact day he came in though.
Tell me about it.
I was in the SHU, you know, that's my unit that I was in, 4 North. Nobody know who he is, I don't know who he is. I don't even know who he is when I seen him. So I get out the SHU, you know, I go back to the unit and, you know, like, Sam is Sam. He's a different kind of guy. So I was looking at him, I'm like, who's this white guy? Like, for me, you know, he's odd, like, he's really odd. So
he's odd. Yeah,
you know, he talks very, very proper, very respectful. But just seeing him in an environment like this, when there's a bunch of guys that look like me, it's just like, damn.
Sam does not fit in a prison environment.
At all. No, he doesn't at all, you know?
According to G Lock, Sam would get into trouble soon after arriving at 4 North, as someone named Juice would try to extort him, but the issue would be solved as ex-mobster Gene Borello from the Bonanno crime family would come to Bankman's aid and beat Juice up.
He gets in the unit and
I see like Sam is like getting pressured by this guy, you know, named Juice. So he's getting pressured by him. And one day my good friend Gene, our friend Gene, you know, he was also incarcerated with us. You feel me? Gene is telling the guy, Sam, like, yo, this is a good unit, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody here is high profile. So you don't really got too much to worry about, you know? And the guy's trying to have Sam under pressure. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to have him like scared.
Yeah.
It's a small unit, you feel me?
Basically like to extort him?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Juice started telling Gene like, yo, like, stop chilling with him, and screaming, raising his voice. Sam was totally scared, first of all, you heard? But so the guy swung at Gene, you know what I'm saying? And Gene beat the out of him.
But then, about a year after Bankman had arrived at MDC Brooklyn, the jail would get another very high-profile inmate in September 2024, as the diddler P. Diddy would make his way into the same 4 North dorm, setting the stage for a bizarre chapter in the jail's already infamous history.
Reports say that Sean Combs is living in the same unit of like a dorm Brooklyn jail.
They're in this dormitory-style thing.
No, I know. I've seen it. Yeah, I visited once at LA jail. It's the scariest thing in everybody's.
Right. These guys are not roommates per se. They're in a unit.
I get it. A group of other defendants assigned to the same section. Combs pleaded not guilty to charges of racketeering, conspiracy, and but the judge denied bail, $50 million.
Diddy's arrival at MDC Brooklyn was the kind of celebrity booking that sent shockwaves through both the music industry and the federal prison system, but his legal team wasn't about to let him rot in the facility without trying everything, and they would try repeatedly to get him released on a $50 million bond, arguing that he wasn't a flight risk and pointing to his charitable work and family ties. Federal judges weren't buying it though, citing him as both a flight risk and a danger to potential witnesses. The paranoia of prison life seemed to hit Diddy particularly hard. Reports emerged in December 2024 that he was boycotting jail meals over fears of being poisoned, surviving instead on snacks like chips and honey buns. Honey buns? But even locked up, Diddy was allegedly still trying to make moves behind bars. Prosecutors claimed that he was using other inmates' phone accounts to contact potential witnesses and even orchestrating social media posts to influence public opinion about his case. Reports would even claim that Diddy was running the 4 North unit, where the other inmates were not just lining up to give their jail phone access codes to him, but even making his bed for him.
Diddy is now being accused of obstructing justice.
Diddy running the jail, man. He running the spot.
Right. According to you, the inmates are fighting over making his bed.
Yep. Well, really, according to Lisa Evers, I want to give her credit. Lisa Evers does an amazing job covering all things, within the New York metropolitan area. She interviewed an inmate that spent some time at MDC Brooklyn alongside Diddy. And, remember, we're all thinking that Diddy's like in super isolation. He doesn't talk to no inmates. We later find out via even court filings by the government, he does. And this one inmate looked like he's not wrong, because he says, hey, listen, Diddy's such a big player in the game in terms of, his power, and he's that guy even in jail. Dudes are getting jealous at other dudes based on who made his bed. And I'm like, yo.
So that's a real thing? Yeah. People are actually making his bed?
Yeah.
I thought you were just joking.
Listen, there's an inmate that said it.
Meanwhile, things were about to get even crazier, because that same month, Luigi Mangione, the 26-year-old accused of gunning down healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in broad daylight on a Manhattan street, would be initially placed in solitary confinement before being moved to the same protective unit housing Diddy and Sam Bankman-Fried.
26-year-old murder suspect Luigi Mangione is struggling with police officers as he was brought to a Pennsylvania court today for an extradition hearing, yelling out to the cameras.
And completely out of touch. And it's an insult to the intelligence of the American people.
The case that everyone has been following, Luigi Mangione, the suspect in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, is back in New York after he waived his right to an extradition hearing. Mangione's plane landed earlier this hour at MacArthur Airport in Long Island. This comes after he appeared in a Pennsylvania courtroom earlier today with his attorney for 2 hearings.
Well, the latest now on the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. His accused killer, Luigi Mangione, is now being held behind bars at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, the very same jail currently housing Sean Combs and Sam Bankman-Fried.
But according to some reports, Diddy was actually getting jealous of Mangione suddenly being the one to get all of the attention in the jail, as Mangione's crime, contrary to the diddler's escapades, was considered noble by the other inmates, as claimed by the notorious true crime TV host Nancy Grace.
Dad, is Diddy jelly? Apparently, Sean Combs jealous after the healthcare assassin Luigi Mangione. No love lost between me and Mangione, but that said, he's angry that Mangione has apparently been crowned Miss Sweet Potato Queen at the MDC. Listen.
Reports from sources inside Metropolitan Center say Diddy is furious that alleged CEO murderer Luigi Mangione is getting more attention behind bars. Diddy has allegedly been throwing tantrums, claiming he is innocent of, yet he continues getting so much hate inside the lockup, while Luigi gets so much love. Reports say prisoners apparently love Mangione, giving him support and sharing their stories of losing loved ones due to inadequate health care.
The News Nation channel would even capture the other inmates yelling "Free Luigi" from the jail windows.
Luigi's conditions suck! Free Luigi!
Meanwhile, scrutiny over MDC Brooklyn's chaotic conditions has only intensified. In September 2024, U.S. Attorney's Office would post a press release stating that an officer at the MDC had been charged for allegedly chasing a civilian vehicle through the Brooklyn traffic before firing 3 shots, one of them hitting one of the people inside of the car. The following month, it was reported that an interagency operation had been launched due to all of the media attention focused on the jail's horrible conditions. Then, in March 2025, news reports revealed that the Department of Justice had launched a dozen new criminal cases, all tied to misconduct inside the facility, ranging from violent assaults and attempted murders to drug smuggling operations, some allegedly involving the jail's own correctional officers.
Prosecutors say this February 22nd fight sent 5 inmates to the hospital, one of them with 18 stab wounds. Security cameras captured inmates in the melee holding sharp weapons, including this one, which is about a foot long. The U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York is charging 6 inmates for the fight. It's one of 12 separate cases the Justice Department unveiled Thursday, all involving the Metropolitan Detention Center in Sunset Park. In another case announced Thursday, prosecutors said staff discovered a package on the roof of the jail containing 18 cellular telephones, approximately 345 grams of marijuana, and a liter of drinking alcohol. Investigators believe MS-13 gang members in the jail used a smuggled phone to communicate about the package with a man who was arrested in Minnesota this week. The Justice Department also says in another case, a correctional officer at the jail got caught trying to smuggle in vacuum-sealed bags of marijuana and cigarettes.
Over the decades, MDC Brooklyn has earned a reputation as more than just a detention center, but a true hell on earth, where some of the most notorious figures of our time, from mobsters and rappers to corrupt billionaires and political outcasts, have all been thrown behind its grim concrete walls. But despite its notoriety, MDC Brooklyn isn't a long-term prison. It's a temporary stop where these high-profile defendants wait in legal limbo as the system decides their fate, and for many, it's only the first brutal taste of what awaits them in the federal prison system. So, if I can conclude this video with one piece of advice, it's that you should always live your life abiding the law and do everything in your power to avoid getting sent off to somewhere like MDC.